We're down here at Ross Outdoors. We have Brian hooking up Lance with all the new archery equipment. Lance gonna take a shot at all three of these. It's the Mathews V3, it's the Prime Nexus, and the Hoyt Ventum. Those are the three 2021 bows that you've seen previously on some of our raffles. They will be offered the rest of the year when we do our bow raffles. Brian set all these up. Lance is, like a lot of us, newer to archery, and we've set all these up for a 29-inch draw length, and they're all at 60 pounds. So let's get to it.
All right, thanks, Chet. So guys, we're gonna kind of just go through a rundown of what we normally do for somebody that we're setting up with some new bows, let them try out the different models, find out which one fits them the best, what they like, you know. There's a lot of good bows out there right now, so our recommendation for anybody is come on down to the shop. We'll set them all up for you to try. Lance is lucky enough that he's winning one of them, so we're gonna get it set up for him, let him try them out, figure out which one he likes the best.
Awesome.
All right, Lance, so the three models that we're going to go through, we've got the Mathews, the V3. This is the 31-inch model, and that 31 represents the axle-to-axle length.
Okay.
We've got the Mathews. On the outside here, we've got the Hoyt Ventum. The Ventum comes, this one is the Hoyt Ventum 30. So that 30 is 30-inch axle-to-axle.
Okay. Makes sense.
With the primes, we've got the Prime Nexus. This Prime Nexus is a 34 axle-to-axle.
Okay.
So they call them the Nexus 4. All of these models do have different different axle-to-axle lengths. In the V3, you can get the 31 or a 28.
Okay.
In the Ventum, you can get the 30 or a 34. In the Nexus, you can get the Nexus 2, the Nexus 4, and the Nexus 6 for like a hunting bow. And those are all different axle-to-axle lengths.
And they all have the same weight, go the same distance on them?
Yeah, so pretty much the same configuration of them. Only thing different is axle-to-axle length.
Okay.
Now, some of the shorter axle-to-axle lengths, guys like them if they're hunting out of a blind or out of a tree stand. That shorter axle-to-axle is good for maneuverability, stuff like that. Out west, you'll see a lot of the guys now that are going to a little bit longer axle-to-axle for that, extended range shot, where a little bit longer axle-to-axle is going to give you a better string angle.
And this is the longest one, right?
The Nexus 4 is the longest one that we have out of these available right now, yeah. So that string angle, the longer axle-to-axle, can be a little bit more stable for a longer range shot.
Okay.
So there's some trade-offs there, Longer axle-to-axle doesn't quite get around in a blind as well, but out in open country, trying to make a little bit extended range shot, it's nice to have that added stability.
Okay.
So,
Makes sense. That's helpful.
like Chet had said, we've got them all set at 29-inch. It seems to be pretty close for your draw length.
Okay.
We've got them set at 60 pounds, so we'll just go through some shots and see which one you like the best.
All right. Sounds good.
All right, we'll start out with the Mathews here. There's that for you. Nice light grid. All right, want to try that Prime next.
Get out. Those seem very similar.
There's the Hoyt. So now, between the three, like you said, they're all going to feel fairly similar.
Yeah.
They've got some similar specs, IBO speeds on them. IBO on the Mathews is 342. The Hoyt is 342 as well.
Okay.
The Nexus comes in at 345 for your speed wise. The brace height on the Mathews is a 6-inch. The Hoyt is like a 6 1/8. The brace height on the Nexus is going to be right at 6 inches. Overall weight, the Mathews comes in at 4.5.
Okay.
The Ventum comes in at 4.6, and the Nexus comes in at 4.4. So all of those specs are fairly similar, you know.
So this is the lightest, fastest, and the longest.
Yeah, the Prime right now is a couple ounces on the lighter side. It is the faster of them, IBO,
But
and
for-
it does have the
For a
longer
novice
axle.
like myself, it's probably not going to make that much difference.
That kind of difference in the specs, you're
Yeah.
probably not going to be able to
Yeah.
notice much. You know, a lot of that comes down to what aero setup you're running as well. That
Okay.
all has a factor to it. Your draw length and the poundage is all going to factor into that equation. So what we're doing now, where you can just get a feel for them, you know, all of these are going to have a little bit different feel. Where, you know, the grip on the Mathews you might like a little bit more, where the draw cycle on the Hoyt might be a little bit nicer where it stands out, or, you know, the back wall of the Prime might be nice and solid where you really like that. So all of the bows are good.
Okay.
It's just kind of finding one of those that kind of jumps out at you the way that you feel more comfortable, because the more comfortable you are with the bow, the more you're going to want to
Okay.
shoot it, the
Yep.
more accurate you're going to be with it.
Right.
So whittling it down, you know.
Okay. Let me try the Mathews again.
Okay.
It seems like this has a little bit narrower grip on it than the other ones.
The Mathews does have kind of a narrower grip compared to the two. The Prime and the Hoyt both have a little bit wider, more rounded grip.
Okay. Is there advantage to that?
It's personal preference,
Okay.
really. One thing that I should mention about the Prime on their grip is something new, a new feature with the Nexus this year. So it's got these panels over here, but underneath these panels, they have a new space age composite that reduces like heat transfer.
Oh, okay.
So like one thing
Cold
with,
weather or
yeah, exactly. With cold weather, you're not going to feel this grip as cold as you would just straight aluminum grip, or, you know, just some of the lighter grips, the plastic grips. This one has that insulation barrier built in underneath the grip,
Okay.
so you're going to have a warm grip, you know, in really cold weather.
try that the Hoyt again.
Get that for you. Gotcha. One thing that people will notice about the grip on the Hoyts that a lot of people like is Hoyts has this bridged riser design. It's where you've got this bar on the back side of the riser. A lot of guys say that it feels like your hand is kind of into the bow a little bit more. Kind of helps with the balance and
Okay.
stuff like that. Talking about balance too, that's one of the features on Hoyts that they changed around this year. They put, the bow comes standard with a type of stabilizer down here mounted really low. That's a new feature from Hoyt that's really nice because it kind of gets that weight down lower and it moves it out,
Sure.
you know, out here in the front.
And that would be an additional piece you'd have to buy for another bow.
Yeah, on the other ones, you know, you're going to have a stabilizer that would normally mount off of these front bushings or this bushing here that you can get different lengths in. The Hoyts are nice because it's coming with one, you know, kind of already set up for that dampening, and it moves it down out here in the front so the bow balances really well.
Okay.
You can hold it nice and are able to aim
But
it
you're not
really
required
nice.
to have it, obviously, right?
You're not required to have it. It's just an accessory that most bows end up with at some
Okay.
point.
I don't know. It's a very difficult decision. But, yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards the Mathews.
Leaning towards the Mathews.
Yeah.
Okay.
But let me shoot the Nexus again.
Yeah. I'll grab, if you want to grab that, I'll grab the arrows for you.
feel very similar. This one feels, obviously it feels a bit longer, you know, and feel, maybe it's just because you're talking longer, but yeah, I still think I'm leaning towards the Mathews.
Mm-hmm. No, and that's one thing, I mean, where the feel is what stands out, you know, so, and like the balance plays into that,
Yeah.
you know, the draw cycle, all of those
This
things.
one, Paul, the draw feels like it's a little smoother than the Mathews, but I don't know, the grip on that one feels better on the Mathews.
That's a big component, so
Yeah.
that's always a good deciding factor.
Yeah.
We'll try another one.
Okay. All right, well, it was in the white.
Meant to be.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna go with.
That's the one you like.
Yeah,
Awesome. It's a great shooting bow.
yeah,
Definitely popular. And like I said, one thing about that, where we've been talking about draw weights and everything and your draw lengths, with the Mathews, one thing that's really nice on them that they're doing now is their module system, which you use a module to change your draw length. So for whatever draw length we've got it set, they have a module in 4 different weights. You got a 60, a 65, a 70, and a 75 pound module that'll go on here in your draw length. And you can change that weight without having to adjust your limb bolts. So
So it's-
normally on these other bows, you're loosening your limb bolt to lower the poundage or tightening it to increase the poundage.
so for a novice, that makes it easier to change the poundage.
Exactly. And the big thing is you're getting the most efficiency you can out of the limbs. You're not losing efficiency of the limbs by loosening up this
Okay.
limb bolt. Just changing it on the module
Okay.
gives you some really good options.
Is that something you have to bring into the shop to get adjusted, or can you do that?
Yeah, you can, just because we'll have the modules here at the shop, so we can sell you different modules, different poundage.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. You don't have to have it in a press to change it, but we recommend bringing it in
Okay.
just because, so you don't strip out the bolts
Right.
or something like that.
Especially if you don't do it that often.
If you don't do it
It's
that
a
often,
setup, yeah.
it can be something different.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's a great option, and congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming down.
Thanks,
and trying
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Chad?
appreciate it, Lance.
Thank you, Chad.
So, you know, when we start getting the accessories going for this thing, there's, you know, some things to start looking at with your sights, your rests, that kind of thing. The sights, the two major differences, there's going to be fixed pin sights, and then the more popular now is a slider sight or an adjustable sight, where you have either a single or multiple pins, but there's a dial on the side that'll correspond to a tape so that you can dial that sight down and are able to shoot out longer distance.
Okay.
A fixed pin sight, the way that's going to work, you're going to have, you know, like 5
I'm familiar with
pins
that.
that are fixed, and generally you're going 20 through 60 or 30 through 70 yards. Now, that's good if that's all the further that you want to shoot out, feel comfortable with. It's a great way to do it. Now, if you're wanting to shoot out farther, an adjustable sight helps with that, because instead of just having that bottom pin at 70, you can go into that dial and dial that housing down. And what you're doing is using your bottom pin at that point, and you're able to have a pin with a corresponding tape that you can set up for farther
Okay.
shots, so that you can actually dial out to say 100 yards practicing and still have a pin to aim at, where you're not having, if it was a fixed pin sight, you're just getting the old
Okay.
guess or pin gap. You
And
know?
then there's optical ones, there's other ones with the rangefinder and stuff. That's the more
Yeah,
high-end stuff, right?
Yeah, so now there's different ones where Garmin's building them with a rangefinder built in. You know, it has a like a red dot screen that it pops
Okay.
up a dot
Of course,
where
it's
you're supposed
technology
to be.
you're going to pay a lot more for, right?
Yeah, there's some ups and downs to both of them, you know, but it just really comes down to what you feel more comfortable with and what you're looking to do with it. Another thing is rests are going to be an important factor in that. You know, this is a whisker biscuit to where really simple, straightforward.
Yep.
Drop the arrow in there, it holds it. One of the downsides is the more that you shoot it, the more that it will wear on these
Okay.
bristles, and it will wear on the vanes of your arrows a little bit.
Okay.
Whereas a drop away rest, you can put the arrow in, as you draw back or you lock it up, that rest comes up.
Okay.
When you shoot, the rest drops out of the way, so you're not getting any contact with your vanes and stuff like that.
Okay. So,
So there's-
saves the arrows.
Yeah, saves the arrows, can be a little bit more consistent. You don't have the wear factor to
Okay.
it.
And then as far as arrows, there's different weights, right?
Yeah, arrows, your big thing with arrows is your spine. So that's the stiffness of the arrow. So that goes with what that's going to go off of is the arrow's length and how much poundage that you're pulling. Because you want the arrow to flex a little bit, but you don't want it to flex too much. So, with you being set up at 29, at 60 pounds, you're probably going to be in that 340 to maybe 300 range if you up that poundage on that spine. And that's just the stiffness, because that arrow has to flex a little bit, but you don't want it to flex too much. That affects your tuning.
Okay.
Paper tuning, broadhead tuning, that's where that all comes into play. And with the arrows, there's a lot in just arrows, so we could have a whole conversation
and
for
then
arrows.
probably got broadheads, they're a whole different story. too.
Broadheads and field points, different things like that.
We got a lot to learn.
Yeah, and so, but it's all stuff that we're definitely willing to help you out with and go through all of it just like we are, just to find out what you're wanting to do with it and find the best fit, because that's what it comes down to, is getting everything to work together and what you're comfortable with, and we can make it work.
Awesome.
All right, that wraps up the video of Lance testing all these different bows. Lance ultimately picked the Mathews V3. All three of them are really, really nice bows. As you can see, it comes down to personal preference, how quiet, the speed, and how it feels in your hands. Come on down to Ross. You can pick up all your accessories, just like Lance is going to do. Brian's going to talk a little bit about all the accessories that Lance will need to fully outfit this for Western big game hunting.
Yeah, Lance, congrats. I think you made a good choice. The Mathews are a great shooting bow. With the raffle, you get the bow bare, so there's a couple accessories that you'll kind of have to get shooting with it. We'll figure out
Arrows.
Yeah, arrows is going to be a big one. The other thing is going to be your rest and a sight.
Okay.
We'll put a peep sight in there, but like I said, we got a lot of different options for rest. We've got a lot of different options for sights. We'll figure out, kind of what you're wanting to do.
Okay.
And go from there, find out which accessory fits you best, fits the boat best. We can get them put on there, all squared away, get it all tuned up, and you'll be ready to go.
All right. That sounds awesome.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks.
So if you guys have any archery needs, we're kind of in the off season right now, but if you have any needs or if you want to come indoors as it starts warming up, we got 20 yards indoor air conditioned range. Come on down here, Ross Outdoors. Everybody is top notch. Bow technician, they'll get you set up, and if you need anything, you can purchase it in store and try it out. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Stay tuned for future videos. If you want to hit that like button and hit that notification button every time CHA uploads more videos, you'll be notified. If you want any more content, you can follow us on our website and Instagram and Facebook under Christian Hunters of America. Thank you.